Good afternoon, TEDxIDC. First of all, thank you for hosting me here. Though in some ways, I have very good relations with IDC and with TED. The Zell program of Liat gave me 3 of my better startups. 2 of them already have done exit, but we didn't come to talk about this today. We came to talk about what make Israel, what make this little piece of land in the middle of the Middle East so strong in startups, so very active, so galvanized. What is the secret? Why it happened? Every week I have people coming from all over the world asking why we have so many startups. What makes this country so crazy? And there are not many explanations. Some people suggest that this is because of the government policy. Some people suggest this is because of the great universities we have. Some people suggest it's because the Zell program of IDC. Some people speak about the level of technology in the country. And all these things are correct. All these things are true, but there is something more. All the things which I mentioned until now are the fuel. But in order to get a startup, in order to ignite innovation and creativity, entrepreneurship, you need a plug, you need a spark plug. And what is this spark plug? Every week I have delegations, I'm meeting delegations coming from all over the world asking this question: what make the startup nation the startup nation? And I would like to suggest another answer, and I ask all of you that this will stay only between us here and the viewers of TED, not anybody else, because then every country will be able to go and do the same. And the secret sauce of the Israeli high-tech is the Jewish mother. And in order to be Jewish mother, you don't have to be Jewish, and you don't have also to be female. You will ask my sons, I'm a Jewish mother, and they are suffering from it. And what is about the Jewish mother? The Jewish mother have a plan for her son. You know, since the moment they are being born, she knows where they should get in the next 30, 40, 50, 60 years. You ask a Jewish mother, how old are your sons? And she will tell you, the engineer is 5 years old, and the scientist is 7 years old. And then she doesn't leave them alone, and she begins to push this idea into their heads. And she are using all kinds of tactics in order to do it. She asks her son, who is 6 years old, after all what we have done for you, asking you to bring 1 Nobel Prize is really too much. And she's using different kinds of tactics in order to make sure that this will work. The 2 tactics is the 2 things that Jewish people are thriving on for the last 2,000 years is the mixture of guilt and panic. And she embedded in them guilt, and she makes sure that if they don't study, if they don't learn, they will feel a lot of guilt. And she doesn't live alone. You know what is the difference between a Rottweiler dog and a Jewish mother? A Rottweiler dog, at the end, let go. And then she begins to push her son crazy. She will tell him, for instance, I was sitting next to the phone all Saturday long, and the telephone didn't ring, and I know it was you. Or she will, you know the story about the Jewish mother who bought her son 2 ties. This is an old story, 1 blue and 1 red. On Saturday he came with the red tie. She looked at him and she said, well, you don't like my blue tie, huh? And then next Saturday he's come with the blue tie. He look at him and say, well, you don't like the red tie, huh? And the next tie come with, the poor guy come with the blue tie and the red tie, and for 20 seconds she has nothing to tell him, and then she tell you, you know, your wife is really driving you crazy. And me, as a young Israeli who grew in this country, I was subject to this very kind of thing. My mother used her own special tactic. She always told me, why all your cousins are so smart, and my sisters and brothers have kids which are so smart, and I'm the only one in the family who has an idiot as a son. And though she maybe finished 8 years of study, she always had an explanation. She explained to me, she had a very good sense about genetics. She told me, they are smart and you are idiot because they are not contaminated with the genes of your father. By the way, she was, this is not known, but she was one of the pioneers of biotechnology in this country. When the state was created in 1948, there was very little in Israel, and she had a small restaurant in Shenkin Street. She was one of the first Shenkinaïns. And she was able to take any organic substance and turn it into chopped liver. And this was the basis of the biotechnology industry in Israel. And by the way, you have to know that the Jewish kitchen is actually where most of us learned innovation and learned how to protect intellectual property. She would never give the correct recipe to any food. What she used to do is she tell you have to make a cake, you should put a little bit of pepper. Always she put some wrong ingredient in order to cover what she's doing. Also, I learned from her some good tactics. For instance, until today, when I see my banker, I push his cheek to see if the cheek come back. Why? Because when my mother used to go to Shuka Carmel to buy fish, she always pressed the cheek of the fish. If it stay pressed, means the fish is no good. If it comes back, it means good. So when I meet the chairman of the banks, I usually, you have to see if your bankers are still in good shape. Another thing which I learned from her, she used to do recursive cooking. What is recursive cooking? She used to make today's dish from yesterday remaining. So what she made today was from the remaining of yesterday. What she made yesterday was from the remaining of the day before. And until now, me and my brother are trying to figure when she bought the original products. So all these things came together in order to make the best out of products, not to give away the intellectual property. And this is the role of the Jewish mother. And by her pushing me all the time, I always try to impress her. Actually, I'm also trying to impress her today. If you want to know why I came to do is another pathetic attempt to impress her, and it doesn't work well because she died maybe 13 years ago, but I still try to impress her. And in order to impress her, I went to the Technion. I have done a doctorate, and my brother came to her and told her, you see, why do you see Yossi is an idiot? He made a doctorate. So she looked at him and she said, Ilan and Israel, my cousins, are doing research, and he's not doing research. He's not a doctor, he's a Dr. Kaker. This is what she said, and it's not only me. I spoke with Jenia Brin, the mother of Sergey Brin, and I asked her what will be with the fact that Sergey didn't complete his PhD in order to create this company Google, and she told me, this is true story, she told me, Google schmoogle, Sergey has to finish PhD and protect it. An honorary doctorate doesn't count. He has to write a thesis and protect the thesis. So at one point of time, a few years ago, the Technion decided to give me honorary doctorate. And I was standing on the stage of the Churchill building in the Technion. There were like 1,000 people in the audience. And in my recipient speech, I said, Mother, you see, I'm not an idiot. I got an honorary doctorate from the Technion. When I went to sleep that day and I put my head on the I heard a voice saying, honorary doctorate is not a true doctorate. So this is the secret of the Israeli high-tech. If you have a Jewish mother, then you will have a great high-tech. I was asked by many times by many countries, what is the way to replicate the secret of the Israeli startup? And I always tell them, you have to import 1 or 2 million Jewish mothers and everything will be fine. Thank you very much.